Hello guys and gals of the internet, I'm Mr. Mikhails of YouTube and Twitch TV, and you know what that intro means. This is the one I've been looking forward to ever since Sonic Marathon 3 was first in the planning. Welcome to Sonic Adventure Revisited. We're going back to Sonic Adventure for the first time since a casual playthrough I did maybe about a year ago or so. And the reason for that is I did this save file when I first installed the BetterSADX mod. That's right guys, the big difference from that playthrough to this one is that this will be on the PC version of Sonic Adventure DX running with the BetterSADX mod, which basically turns the game into the Dreamcast port more or less, because when Sonic Adventure DX come out, you could play the original adventure on Xbox 360, I think, but for PC it was automatically the DX port. The problem with that port back then was the 4:3 ratio cutting off the edges of the screen, and it just felt very jarring at the time. I wouldn't be so bothered about it now because of obviously Sonic Origins, but at that point when I was doing it, it just... I recorded an initial playthrough on this version and had my camera that I was using zoomed in to the point where I cut the screen off. It didn't come down that badly. But then maybe a year after that playthrough, I actually went back on the GameCube version and did the DX port there. And that was pretty much one of the last times I played this game, aside from maybe a couple others. Obviously when this came out on the PC, I did it then. And this recent file was with the SADX mod installed on my PC. It runs like an absolute dream. It actually has a couple of unique things right at the end that I'll point out. Now of course we're going to start anew with this new file, so let's do that. And as you can see, as you can tell, it pretty much runs Sonic Adventure, like pretty much almost to a T, I would say. It's the Sonic Adventure port on the Sega Dreamcast.
Options.
Now, with the Sega Dreamcast, it came out in October of 1999. I actually got it over a year later. The Christmas of the year 2000 was when I picked this up, and Sonic Adventure was one of my initial games for
Select
it,
a character.
and I absolutely loved it. But the one problem I always had for like maybe a year or two straight was that I couldn't beat it, because I never picked up a memory unit for my Dreamcast. I never had a memory unit for it. So I would have to do all this in a day, and it took me so damn long. But eventually, I ended up memorizing it so much that I was able to power through all of this and end it in plenty of time. Now back then, I was still going to school. So of course, you know, I was still going to school, so I had no chance of doing it on a school day. So it was always like the weekends where I would try and power through it. And for so long, I couldn't do it. I couldn't beat it. And I never picked up a memory unit for the Dreamcast ever since I picked it up. I never picked one up. So I was stuck, pretty much. And then, obviously, a year or two later, the PlayStation 2 and Xbox Original came out, literally wiped the floor with everything Sega was doing, and the Dreamcast sadly went under, pretty much. And Sega, as a result, became a third-party company, still releasing today's games today, thank goodness. Yeah, they pretty much lost the console wars when, I say console wars, I don't really think of that shit, but that's what it was called. They pretty much lost out when the PlayStation 2 and Xbox came out. It was the Sega Dreamcast was a console of such potential, and I wanted a lot of games for it. One of which was Sonic Adventure 2. I would have picked it up had I known about it. That was a weird thing. I never knew about Sonic Adventure 2 coming out on it. But like I said, then the PlayStation 2 and Xbox Original came out, and Sega fell behind rather quickly in the console market, and to the point where, to the point where we are today. So, as you can instantly tell, the big difference to this version is that it's widescreen supported, which is great, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to get this mod and do it this way. I had planned to maybe do this in story order, but I think that's going to be too... I want to say too like confusing and convoluted. Like the story really starts with Knuckles, to be fair, and then it switches to Sonic, and then with some time, and then we switch to Tails, and yeah, it's kind of. I would have preferred one cohesive story rather than playing as 6 characters. Well, play as the 6 characters, but make it in a complete story.
Let's get him.
But I think what they tried to do was, because every character had their own play style, they couldn't do that at the time. They didn't want to have you play as Sonic for a level, and then you go do Knuckles for a level, and he has a completely different play style to Sonic. So I can see what they wanted to do. I can really see what they wanted to do with that. So I'm just going to do it as I did in the original marathon. I had planned to do it the story way, but that would just be too confusing for you guys. So I'm just going to play from beginning to end as each character. I think that's the best way to do it in terms of like playthrough terms. Of course, we all know the story anyway.
Oh yeah!
I was going to say, do I have the subtitles on? I do, thankfully. So as you can probably tell, this game will show age, especially in the dialogue and kind of cutscenes. But in the gameplay department, I really think this still holds up really well, even today. So this was really Sonic's first ever game entry into the 3D era. The Dreamcast came out when the Nintendo 64 rewritten everything in terms of like 3D, but Sonic took it with Super Mario 64. But Sonic took a bit of time getting to 3D, and this was kind of the end result.
Oh no! Our weapons are useless! Retreat! All personnel! Fall
So as you can see already, that guy is just stepping back on the spot, and he's doing the Michael Jackson moonwalk.
This could be fun!
Which is kind of hilarious. But I think once we get into the gameplay, it'll actually run really well. Yeah, you can already tell the frame rate's up. So that'll be a plus. So this will be an actual 60 frames. Is that cop? Shit. I ain't gonna lie, this is still one of my all-time favorite Sonic games.
Hey, I'll play with you some other time.
I'm not even kidding about that. I still love this game so much. I'm not gonna absolutely power through it, but I'll probably get through this pretty quickly, because I really do know what I'm doing. Pretty much like Sonic 3, I played this to death, and like I said, without the memory unit, I was pretty forced to do that.
Where you going?
I was pretty much forced to do that and play this game in a day and memorize it all. So that's really why it's going to turn out that I kind of really know this game a lot.
You know nothing, fool! It's Chaos, the god of destruction!
Why is he moving like that? You can really tell how ambitious Sega was with this game. Like, the ambition is certainly there. Even if some of the like
Tails?
animations and stuff are a bit all over the place at times.
You're gonna crash! Ah! Tails! Ah, what am I gonna do with you?
Oh my god. This game's depiction of Tails, I adore it. This is Tails' peak. This is literally his peak game. I'm not even joking. This is Tails' peak right here. God. this soundtrack is just probably, in terms of all round, probably still today, to me, the best 3D game Sonic soundtrack. I would say that for definite sure. This soundtrack is pretty much like a huge part of my life. I love this soundtrack so much. Shit, I'm going the wrong way. Nope, I'm not. I was kind of worried that I was going to kind of fail that. But just look at that. That's for a console in 1999. That was, I think it was actually released in 98 in Japan, I think. Could be wrong about that. But yeah, that was really just kind of new ground, you know? The Dreamcast just had such potential and such really good games too. I always wanted to get this game called Fighting Vipers, which I never got. I got the Virtua Tennis game that was really good. I didn't have the hugest Dreamcast collection, to be fair. I had a Virtua Fighter, I think. Yeah, I think I had Virtua Fighter, Sonic Adventure, and the tennis game. I would have had Sonic Adventure 2, but I never even knew it came out on Dreamcast. The first I've heard of Sonic Adventure 2 was actually my sister getting the GameCube version, I think. And I remember her saying to me, "You can play this because I'm not going to have any idea what I'm doing, so you do it." I was like, "But I haven't played this before." Yeah, I know what I'm doing, but I guess, to be fair, I probably did to a degree because, you know, in a sense, Adventure 2 is very similar to Adventure. Like, they're very similar games in terms of like style and everything. I'll tell you something, like in motion and when you're moving, like this game really holds up really well. It really does. Everything just pops out. This is the definitive version of Sonic Adventure right here. Aside from the Dreamcast port.
Yeah, not bad.
I don't mind the DX port, but I definitely prefer the Dreamcast port. I think the Dreamcast port looks a little maybe too much.
I'm just glad you're okay.
You know?
What happened anyway? You're too good of a pilot to just crash like that.
That was a test run using a new prototype propulsion system. It's got a few bugs to iron out.
Why not just use my plane, the Tornado?
Thanks, but you gotta check out my newest power supply. Ta-da!
So I wonder if,
a Chaos Emerald!
I do wonder if this follows on from Sonic 3.
I just happened to find one of the
I think
7
it does,
emeralds during one of my test flights. This thing's got unlimited power, you know. So I figured, why not use it to power my plane? Supercharged! You gotta come over to my workshop, Sonic. I've got something I've gotta show you. It's in the Mystic Ruins. The fastest way is by train. Let's go!
Music, his story, it just depicts Tails so well, and my attachment to him just grew because of it. You know? It really did. I'm not going to spend too much time in these hub worlds because even though they are very interesting, there's not a lot to do in them. But the good thing about that is they're very small, very confined, and it's something you can really just do in your off time if you wanted.
The train headed for the Mystic
Like I said, I
Ruins
won't
will be
really
departing
spend
soon.
too much time exploring them because they're not that big. But yeah. For a first attempt at a 3D Sonic game, I really think it was gloriously done. It's not the best game ever. like ever made.
If it isn't
It
Sonic!
does have some like
Look, it's a giant talking
you know
egg.
the
Silence! I am Dr.
you know you can tell everybody's all blocky and the motions are pretty minor.
Whatever you say, Eggman.
Enough!
I mean
I've got big
I love most of the dialogue, but I don't know if it would really hold up
You're always up to no
much
good.
these days.
Now what do you want?
With everything like Uncharted and Last of Us out.
Interfere! Or else!
Or else what, you big loser?
Or else I'll take them from you by force! The hard way!
Oh my god. Whoever, even though the writing can be seen as cheesy and the presentation can be a bit, like, not great, whoever wrote these characters, for the most part, wrote them really well. Like, that whole thing is just, it's just Sonic. The writers of this game got the characters to a T. And they didn't even been established in 3 years. You know, most of Sonic's previous time before then, you know, the characters were like dialogueless, like they had no words at all. So,
All systems, full power!
get right. I only learned that trick much later.
Hey, I'll play with you some
I
other
say
time.
it got them. I wouldn't say that because their personalities haven't really been established so much. But for a first attempt, it was really well done. I would say that. And like I said, this game's depiction of Tails is sensational.
Well,
Probably my
that wasn't so hard.
favorite in the whole game.
Aha!
Boink.
Oh no!
That was pretty stupid. I don't know why Tails was running with that.
Come on, Chaos! Time to eat!
What was it with like
Chaos?
the motions and the moving and everything? It's not bugged. It's just how it was. It's kind of funny now when you think about it. Look back
Oh
on
no,
it.
isn't that the same monster I saw the other day?
Look at it. I don't think like
Oh, yeah!
the game's in the same
It's
realm.
just
I know a lot of
those
people would probably
tablets
compare this to
predicted.
Mario 64.
His strength increases every time!
Look what he's doing it. Why is that?
With all 7 emeralds in him, he'll be
It has its
invincible.
flaws.
And work for
I
me.
won't admit. I will admit
Together,
it has
we'll
its flaws and
destroy
its
Station
moments
Square.
of like weirdness.
On its ruins, I'll build Robotnik Land, the ultimate city, where I will rule it all. Come on, Chaos! Let's find another emerald,
See,
shall we?
The whole Eggman thing, I think that was supposed to be a joke, which became his name.
We can't let him get away with this, can we?
No way, Tails.
Without more emeralds, the monster can't transform. So, it's up to us to get the emeralds before Eggman does, huh?
You don't say, Tails. You don't say. But yeah, it's just like so good for a game in the time. I'll tell you that. I never played Super Mario 64, so I don't really know what. Like, I know a lot of people would compare it. I can't, so I won't, because I never played Super Mario 64. So I did have a Nintendo 64. I did have one. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but I did have one. But that was another console where I didn't have a lot of games for it. I think I had F1 97, which was called F1 World Grand Prix. A Mario Kart 64 I had. This awesome Winter Sports game that was cool. I think I had a Donkey Kong, but I'm not sure of that. Yeah, I think I did. I think I had a Donkey Kong. Whoa. I already have 12 lives. Already have 12 lives.
Head straight up. You should be able to get out of the tornado.
What the heck? But everything from the previous game checks out, like the elemental shield. I think there's only the electric shield that is an elemental shield in this game. Fun fact, this is actually one of the tunes from Sonic 3D Blast, which I never really noticed for such a long time. And I played Sonic 3D Blast. I actually played that game. I think I beat it, but I'm not entirely sure about that. I think there's a way I can play it now on the Mega Collection, I think, the Sega Genesis Collection. I probably should have tried that, actually, but I don't remember it. I only played that maybe once or twice. So good. So good. This is when Sonic music reached peak levels for me. Don't get me wrong, the 2D music was so damn good, but my god. If there was ever a contested soundtrack to contest those, this was it. This game is it. It really just is. Yeah, I know it might look like I'm powering through it. It's really because I know what I'm doing. Really. And like I said, the hub worlds really aren't that much to explore, to be honest. Which is nice. I actually prefer these hub worlds to most other ones. I don't think Unleashed was that bad. I can't wait to play that game again, because I love that game. Yes, the Werehog is a what the heck moment, but to me, I think it actually, in a gameplay sense, it works.
Now you've got light speed shoes. Press and hold the action button to store up power. Once you have enough power, release the button and you can do the light speed dash. The light speed dash lets you race toward rings at light speed. As long as there's a trail of rings, you can go just about anywhere.
It really became one of Sonic's signature moves. Can you hear that? Go! That's actually a new sound that the mod had put in, I think. There is a bracelet in the hotel that decreases the time, but I'm not going to go get it because I don't think you need it. You know, that's more of an optional power-up. You don't necessarily need it, so I won't have it. The reason why is that the one thing
for the Mystic Ruins will be departing soon.
The one thing that is really odd about this game is that when you collect like power-ups for the characters, they start to look a bit weird, because even if you're not playing as Sonic and you pick up the bracelet, he'll still keep it for the rest of the game, and it just looks kind of weird to me. It's like Amy with the Wario feather, like... I think if you go in with less than 100 rings, you'll get put into the garbage, really. There's no really better word for it. Try to get as close to 100 as you can, and then just kind of fall off. It's better to go through the garbage. You'll get more rings down there. So probably get up to about maybe 50 or something. Obviously it won't be enough right off the bat to get the emerald, but... Right, and you can put down here. You can get a lot of rings down here. Ooh. Just have to be careful not to lose them all. Ah. There we go. Feels good. Sick. Yeah, I can't. I did kind of want to do it in story order, but I think it would just be. It would just be a bit jarring, I think. And some like story things you would cross over. Like you don't even play with Amy until so long. Big, well, yeah. I think I know it. You know, I know what would order to do it, but I think that would also disjoint my commentary a lot. It wouldn't have a real natural flow about it. Because I'll be talking completely different stuff at completely different times. It would be all kind of disjointed. So, yeah, I'll just do this normally. I never played a Knights game. True story, I never played a Knights game. I have no idea what I'm doing. I think I've got like a pair, yeah. I think that's the only way to get rings, I think. Just keep going through this. Nice to put a nice Knights references in a Sonic game. I don't think it's the only time it's ever been either. I don't think this one really gives as much rings as the other one, to be fair.